In the next 90 minutes or so, we will be touching upon an important and timely topic on the impact of COVID-19 on hospitality education from an Asia-Pacific perspective. While the COVID-19 situation is still developing in various parts of the world, and we are affected by the pandemic one way or another, it is critical that we are kept informed of what everybody is doing and learn from each other so that we are better prepared to cope with the challenges ahead of us. Okay. Before we continue, can I request that you keep your microphone muted during the session? We are delighted to have invited the founding chairman of APacCHRIE and 5 panelists from different parts of Asia-Pacific region joining us for the webinar today. First, can I invite Professor Kay Chang, founding chairman of APacCHRIE, Dean and Chair Professor, Walter and Wendy Kwok Family Foundation Professor in International Hospitality Management of the School of Hotel and Tourism Management at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, to deliver his welcome remarks. Professor Chang, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Henry Tai, for your kind introduction. Good morning to everybody. It's nice to see that all our friends in hospitality and tourism community around the world look healthy, and I hope you and your loved ones will continue to be well. When the thing happened in last January, when I heard that this is new disease coming around, which was similar to SARS that we experienced 17 years ago, I was kind of bold to predict that, well, yes, having gone through the SARS 17 years ago, I can tell in the next few months, maybe in May, maybe in June, I'm sure everything will be over. But I was wrong because I realized that this COVID-19 is not SARS. It's much worse than what SARS was. Second, this is global pandemic. And in the 17 years time, I think the world has become far more globalized. There's greater mobility of people, transportation, and then spreading around the world. So it looks like that this will continue for a while, and there will be some lasting changes in many things. And that one of that for sure will be education. And today we're talking about the future of hospital and tourism education. What will this bring to? When I was thinking about this, I've been thinking a few possible changes. For example, this year, when we start promoting our school for admission of undergraduate students in Hong Kong internationally, we have been emphasizing a lot greater deal about what our graduates can do when they graduate from hotel and tourism school. Not only they are working in hotel and tourism industry successful, in fact, we realize that we have many graduates who are very successful in their careers in many related industry. So we started advertising and promoting our school by saying that once you study hospitality and tourism, you're learning hospitality, which is a tool. With a tool, you can be successful in any businesses you can think about. Services industry, financial industry, retail industry, luxury brand industry, and so on and so forth. I'm very pleased to inform you that a few days ago in Hong Kong, because this is season for university admission, number of students applied to our school, still competition is something like 20 to 1. Among all the high school graduates applying to universities, we have as many as 20 students more than number of students we can take in. So that is very strong. I think that means that the students and parents have strong faith about the industry, which is true. The industry will continue to develop and we bounce back in a few years. So that is one thing. I think we have to think about how we can structure our curriculum, not only for operations and management in hotel and tourism industry, but also how we can expand our curriculum to cover related industry. Second is, this is something I've been emphasizing the last few years. With the world becoming so digitalized, If our students don't have the digital skills, they will wind up working for people who studied computing or computer science or information technology. So this COVID-19 has proved that. So I think the digital transformation is so important. We have to really think about how we can change our curriculum so our students will not work for these people, technocrats, who understand this technology, but they can manage the technology. For example, one subject, one course in our undergraduate curriculum, we have marketing course. Of course, everybody has marketing course. Marketing in hospitality and tourism or hospitality and tourism marketing. Now we have refocused that course. It's called Marketing in Digital Environment in Hospitality and Tourism. That is a new subject. We have to really think about how we can incorporate this digital transformation into our curriculum. The third, I think, for the time being, international mobility of students will be somewhat limited. If I'm a parent, if my son or daughter is thinking about going to another country to study, I'll have to think hard for two reasons. One is safety, obviously, and even if I send my son to a renowned university anywhere in the world, or my daughter to anywhere in the world, more likely he or she will be taking courses online next semester. And why do I have to spend all this money to send my son or daughter far away and pay for expenses? And then I think that also brings us to another aspect of future, that is online education. With the development of MOOC, as you know, MOOC was developed by Harvard and MIT. Harvard and MIT realized that education is no longer a privilege for those who have. It should be a commodity available to anybody. With that concept, they came up with the concept called edX. edX is a platform which is providing online education. And this has been around for years. Now I think it will definitely accelerate this online education. Here's an example. If you go to renowned Ivy League institutions in the United States to pursue an MBA or sort of master's degree, it will cost about $120,000 tuition alone. If you add the living expenses, it will be way more than 200,000 US dollars to finish that master's degree. Imagine that if you can offer a similar program online at price of 20,000, which is only 10% of the total cost, definitely that will be attractive, especially when your son or daughter has to take classes online anyway for the time being. So I think this is one area that we have to really look into. In fact, in our school, we offer this micro masters online. Micro masters is our master's degree comprises 10 courses. 4 of the 10 courses are already offered online and free of charge, by the way. You can look up our website, you can find. And then if the students want to take the courses for credit, to get certification, they have to go through assessment, take an exam and so on. But they pay only 200 US dollars per course, which is still a fraction of the tuition fee. And these courses can be transferred to any recognized university, certainly in our own school. So we are thinking seriously how we can expand to make a full master's degree online. So to me, these are some thoughts to start. I'm sure the panelists will share more thought about implications of what is happening now on our education in the future. So I want to again thank APacCHRIE for organizing this series of webinar. Dr. Henry Choi as the chairman of this task force to proceed with this series of webinar. And I look forward to many more webinars to come in the future. And I want to see all my friends around the world stay safe, well, until we see each other again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Chang, for your opening remarks and encouraging words, and also your insights into hospitality education in the future. Now, I will invite each panelist to give a presentation on how their hospitality education is affected by the pandemic and how they cope with the challenges. After the presentation, we will have some time for Q&As, and participants can then enter the question using the chat function. First, can I invite Dr. Bonghosh Ridicharniwat, Dean of International College and Director of the International Program in Hotel and Tourism Management, Siam University from Thailand, to give her presentation. Dr. Ridicharniwat, please. You have to unmute.
We have to open disable participant screen sharing.
Yes, share.
Yes, we'd like to share screen, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. Can you see the screen now? Okay. So Dika, this is a voice from Thailand today, and I'm very glad and also have the honor to be a panelist today. What I would like to report today is the update that we are able to share together. According to the Global Health Security Index, Thailand is one of the best in Asia and also sixth in the world for pandemic preparedness. This is the information in December before the outbreak of the coronavirus. And as of today, this morning at 8:30, in the case of Thailand, we performed really well in terms of the measure to guard against the COVID-19, because inside Thailand at this moment, we don't have the infected case within the country. That means Thailand is safe to travel within the country, although we have the case that have been affected from abroad and have been recovered in Thailand. This is the reason why the New York Times has one article talking about Thailand in terms of the measure that we have got against the COVID-19. We cannot say exactly that Thailand is doing right, but so far it's working. For example, the government asked the people to wear face masks, keep social distancing, wash hands regularly, and also have many other strategies to cope with the virus. And at this moment, Thailand, we are safe and we are very proud of this information. But when we talk about the impact of the COVID-19 on higher education, especially in Thailand, and also any other country, I would like to give one survey that has just been released by the International Association of University, in which President Ponchai of Siam University is the first vice president. This survey is very useful, not only for Thailand, but on a global basis about the impact of COVID-19. For example, the survey showed that 67% of classrooms have been replaced with the online teaching and learning. And this survey is based on 424 universities around the globe from 109 countries, as well as Hong Kong and Macau. So, University, which is one of the members of this association, we have been affected also because the COVID-19 has changed the way that we deliver teaching and also affect student learning. For example, this is the first time that we have to have the virtual graduation. In fact, for the virtual graduation, of course, it affects the experience of the student. They are unable to congratulate their success with their family and friends, especially for international students. They have to stay at home, but at the same time, it also gives us a new horizon. For example, we have to use the hybrid and also virtual face-to-face graduation faculty also have to wear face masks as well as the student. This also give us the opportunity. At least we also feel proud that we have got again the disease, not only the COVID-19, but also from other infectious disease, especially during the rainy season. That means the COVID-19 gives us the opportunity to increase the standard of hygiene. We are very concerned about coughing, sneeze, and we also are very concerned about other sanitation issue. So this is one of the benefits that we have learned from the COVID-19. However, in terms of research, the COVID-19 has affected the research, and this occurred not only in Thailand but also in several institutions, including our APacCHRIE. Because of the COVID-19, most of the scientific conference have been canceled or postponed. We are unable to meet. Therefore, this is the first challenge that many institutions around the globe, including Thailand, like Siam University, we have turned crisis into opportunity. The Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation have asked the collaboration from the university in Thailand to allow staff to work from home. But the opportunity to work from home has been effective in terms of global research collaboration, because it gives time for the staff to concentrate more on the research. For example, because of the COVID-19, my school have chance to work together, and we just have done a survey about the COVID-19, about the resilience to crisis of Thai meeting, incentive, convention, and exhibition stakeholder. This is a longitudinal study, and we found that the COVID-19, similar to any other crisis that we have faced, give time for people in terms of the reflection. And I would say that this is the time for failure celebration, because we have learned and also know how to cope with, to change the mindset to growth mindsets. And in the case of Thailand, we have learned and also changed the crisis into an opportunity. Because of the Thai hospitality, for example, the Thai hotels, several of them have to be closed, but there are also the Thai hotels who change the crisis into opportunity by allowing the guests to extend stay, and then they are able to change the destination to be the health and wellness for the people who would like to escape the disease to stay in Thailand. And the other thing which have the impact, the great impact on our student international mobility. Many of our students are unable to come to Thailand, and then we also have to have course online. That and for this coming semester, for any student who would like to come to Thailand, they have to go on to the alternative state quarantine, which they have to pay for their own expense. The price range from 920 US dollar to 7,000 US dollar. So this price is very high, but again, the Thai government believes that this should be the new change to increase the safety and security for the people in Thailand. And according to the a statistic from the 14th state quarantine that the Thai people have to go through if they come from abroad. The price of each person is about 14,000 baht, not including medicine. So this also offers an opportunity for the lifelong learning that we have to concentrate now, not only for the international student, but we also have to change the target market to the non-traditional student who also have been laid off and also would like to look for the new opportunity for the short courses. So the COVID-19 is not really a big challenge, but it's also offer us the time to think about the lifelong learning of non-traditional students. And at the same time, when we have to adapt ourselves with the new normal, we also have chance to increase the proficiency and competency of our faculty members. When we talk about the information technology, we have chance to learn more about new tools to increase our digital learning, which we are able to integrate and also help our students to improve the social learning. Therefore, the COVID-19 has the impact, but at the same time, it's also increased the competency of our faculty members. And when we talk about the community services, the COVID-19 has impacted the community engagement because we are unable to go to have the face-to-face contact with the community. But at the same time, it's also increased our community engagement. For example, the university have invent several measures and products to help the community resilient to the COVID-19. And because of this opportunity, we also have the story behind the scene to tell what the university have done and also keep the community with the university research and innovation. Therefore, from my perspective, the COVID-19 also offer an opportunity to the higher education. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chaniwat, for your presentation from Thailand. Very interesting contents. Next, can I invite Professor Shirley Guevara, Dean and Professor of the College of Home Economics, the University of the Philippines, from the Philippines. Deeper presentation, Professor Guevara, please.
Thank you, Henry. First of all, I'd like to thank I'd like to thank the APacCHRIE for inviting me to share with you the impact of the COVID-19 on the Philippine hospitality education. The National Capital Region was placed under enhanced immediate quarantine on March 10, 2020, and immediately we were instructed to adopt remote learning and other alternative modes of delivery. Local and international internships and practical programs and mass gatherings were also suspended, and this included seminars, workshops, and even graduation ceremonies, especially those universities that follow the old curriculum and the academic calendar. In the university, we were 7 weeks into our semester, and so we're still navigating this online learning. 3 days after, we were instructed to suspend online classes and technology-supported learning activities until April 14, because the university felt the strong need to check on the well-being of the faculty, students, and staff. And the primary concern then was how to survive the pandemic, and any academic concern had to take the back seat. There was also the issue of connectivity and availability of gadgets. And so the university conducted a survey of its students and faculty members. On our end, we also conducted a parallel survey on our students. And those who are using mobile data encounter more problems than those using Wi-Fi at home. Among all these problems include poor and unstable internet connection. So in a nutshell, the feedback from students and even faculty and staff are as follows: problem on connectivity, especially those residing outside Metro Manila, high level of anxiety, problems on gadgets and or equipment, and for our staff not being adept at technology, especially the senior ones. Within that 1 month period, the university requested the Open University, which is the 7th campus of UP system, to conduct online lessons on remote learning and administering assessments. This is for all the faculty members across all the 7 campuses. Our interactive learning center, which teaches students and faculty members on the 21st century education, also conducted immediately innovation workshops on remote learning and a walkthrough of all faculty members on the different online resources of our learning management system, which we call UVLE, or University Virtual Learning Environment. Other institutional interventions included changing the grading system from numerical to either numerical or a passing grade, depending on the agreement between the parents and the faculty members. We also excluded the grades for second semester from the computation of scholastic standing in consideration to those living outside the metropolis but are running for honors. Other institutional interventions included the suspension of academic deadlines, such as dropping, leave of absence, and payments of tuition fees and dormitory fees. Although University of the Philippines and other state universities do not charge tuition fees. Only those overstaying in the university are required to pay their tuition. We were also encouraged to conduct bridging programs beyond the end of the semester last May 30, 2020. To date, our university is enhancing its library rather as a learning commons among all the campuses, with curation of library resources, with websites of curated materials and links to resources provided to all stakeholders. It is now also acquiring anti-plagiarism programs like Turnitin. In terms of faculty support, aside from immediately procuring Zoom licenses, we have requested for virtual laboratory applications, gadgets like webcams, hard drives, and headsets, including our lecturers. And now the university is conducting a survey among all faculty members in all its campuses on interest-free computer loan plans payable within 5 years with salary deduction. We are also looking at internet subsidy, and so the university is now talking to telecommunication companies for possible educational data packs. Bridging programs are also credited with teaching loads, and monetary incentives will be given for course packs. Okay, these are the other online seminars and series of webinars that we are having right now in the university. But I think one of the most important things that they're doing is the wellness program for teachers in the light of the COVID-19. In terms of student support, we are operating on the basic tenet of walang iwanan, or no one should be left behind, as demanded by the University Student Council. Do you know that within that 3 months that we were on lockdown, the university provided free meals 3 times a day to all students, including international students that were stranded in the 12 dormitories. And this was extended to other students living outside the university in boarding houses. This was my recommendation actually as the immediate past director of the Office of Student Housing. Right now we are having a drive coordination among alumni and friends of UP for gadgets and internet subsidies for financially challenged students. We have strengthened our support for physical and mental wellness with the Office of Guidance Counseling and our Psych Serve team. In terms of support for local international exchange students and faculty, our Office of International Linkages facilitated the return or departure of local exchange international students and faculty by providing airport transfer and 2 quarantine facilities inside the university while they are awaiting the results of their swab test. They were also provided in advance infographics on facility and quarantine procedures. And we are also running a series of webinars for our UP staff to strengthen their work from home capabilities. Moving forward to academic year 2020-2021 and beyond, we will be delivering courses remotely still. We've shortened meetings from 16 to 13 weeks. And we have just consulted with our students on how we will redesign our program, which contain all this program implementation, course delivery, and extracurricular activities. We have given them option to select upon a full semester with the courses taken in 13 weeks or split semester that will be divided into two groups, each group to be given 7 weeks. We are also in the process of redesigning our courses, uh, assigning number of hours to synchronous, asynchronous, self-study, and assessment activities. So this one is an example for our lecture and this one for our laboratory. We are about to start developing our course packs for those students who have no or have weak internet connectivity. And this course packs will be delivered to them via couriers. And that was commissioned by the university. So the contents will be on the syllabus, the learning resources, activity and assignment guides, and types of assessment. Our laboratory classes will consider number of students per class, faculty loading, and activities, aside from lectures, webinars, videos, virtual demo, written demo on skills-based activities. The most important thing for us is the reflection of our students on the learning process. So we have also been talking about the case of the new internship in Liman, and we want to link with our partners on virtual orientation of our students on operation and facilities of the establishments. We would like to request for work from home tasks that are not so confidential, although this can be addressed by data privacy through non-disclosure agreements. We would like to propose also that our students be tapped for marketing and promotion activities during their internship because they're tech savvy and they can use social media platforms like infographics, among other things, to promote the establishment with primary focus on the safety protocols of the establishments. They say that these safety protocols are now the new amenities in the hospitality industry. But performance can be evaluated based on the number of likes or retweets. So what are the lessons that we learned from the past? We should have embraced the fourth industrial revolution that has been with us since 1969. We should have developed curricula that are not disrupted by any pandemic, calamity, or political unrest. We should have adopted 21st century teaching strategies or pedagogy that are suitable to the current generation, to process information very quickly, give bite-sized information. They're more visual than oral, and they have very short span of attention, with millennials only 12 minutes and Gen Z 8 minutes. As Dean of the college, I would like to request more for podcasts from our radio station and possible partnerships with our TV channel and the Open University, which has been operating since the early 1990s. Concluding reflections for me, I'd like to see an emergent hospitality curriculum with the following elements. For the framework, it should be flexible and non-disruptive. It should depart from conventional structure. We go for lifelong learning as articulated by Bang Bush early on. It could be multi or interdisciplinary in nature. In terms of pedagogy, we can use immersive technology. It should be experiential for our students so they can reflect more and uh, experience the real-time learning. But they should also be discursive. And finally, in terms of assessment, we teachers should surface and visible, put more premium on the learning protocols or processes rather than what is only visible. We should go for formative assessment rather than summative because the former is real time. That ends my presentation. Maraming salamat. And that's thank you, ABUs.
Thank you, Professor Guevara, for your very detailed presentation on many aspects. Now, can I invite Dr. George Liu, Associate Professor in Hospitality Business Program, Coordinator of Case Method Community of Practice, Singapore Institute of Technology from Singapore, to give his presentation. Dr. Liu, please.
Yes, thank you. Let me share my screen first. Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Ding Chong and Henry, for giving me the opportunity to share a Singapore case. So I got 4 parts for my sharing. First, I'm going to start with the background of Singapore, and then narrow it down to my university, that is SIT. I'm going to share one proactive measure took by us, and also a reactive measure that is about the online exams. And finally, I'm going to share some of my individual reflection as a teacher or scholar in this COVID-19 pandemic era. So a little bit background about my university. So I'm from Singapore Institute of Technology, SIT. So it was founded in 2009. So this is a very young university. We became the autonomous university or public university in 2014. So this is a 6th year, a very young university. We are the 5th AU Singapore. We positioning ourselves as Singapore's university of applied learning, and also the vision is to become a leader in innovative learning by integrating learning, industry, and the community. So this is if you register from the Singapore website, this is what you're going to get on a daily basis about what's going on for the COVID-19. So I picked one that is from last Friday, July 24th. You can see the numbers here. So we got a category of new cases and also active cases, fatalities, and the total cases. You may see some large numbers here and there, but to me, if you trying to be optimistic, I focus on 2 categories. So first is about the active cases in hospitals. Right now we got 157 and 0 in ICU. It means that the medical kind of services are not overloaded. So this is still dealing with in an organized way. And the total fatalities during the whole period is 27. So it's still at a very low level. So this is a big picture about Singapore in the COVID-19 pandemics. In terms of the major measures, I divided it into 4 phases. So it's early February, what we call it before the doors can level orange. So the DOSCAN is a system in Singapore. Basically, it's about disease outbreak response system conditions with green, yellow, orange, and red. So before orange, SIT, my university, started to conduct temperature taking for events with over 200 people. And on February 7th, the government elevated the level from yellow to orange. And then SIT started to put all lectures with 100 or more students into the online mode. So this is for all large size classes. And later on, we lowered the threshold to 50. So even mid-scale kind of classes also going online. On 21st February, there's one SIT student being diagnosed with COVID-19. And then the university just started a series of efforts and actions. So in March, we started to prepare for the online exams, and also the school offered a lot of online kind of workshops for faculty members. In April, all universities shifted to home-based learning, and this moved to phase 3. That is what we call in Singapore called circuit breaker. So all workplaces closed, except for those essential services. So that is about 2 months' time. And now we're in the post-circuit breaker era phase. All primary school and secondary schools resume their face-to-face sessions. But for institutions of higher learning, we're still conducting the home-based learning. So this is we are running to the end of our trimester now, and we're still doing the home-based learning. So this is the big picture of Singapore and some measures took by SIT. And next, I'm going to share one what I call the proactive action or measure, and that is about the competencies for online and remote teaching. We call it CORT here. So basically, it's all SIT full-time faculty members are to show that they're ready to conduct online teaching in the following 4 areas. It's about creating online video lessons, doing online synchronously online lessons, and also conduct online discussion, giving online assessment and feedbacks. I just want to point out that this in practice started in April 2019. So this is about 9 months before the outbreak of the pandemic. So this is a proactive measure just to create a solid foundation for all the faculty members at SIT to deal with the online learning. It's quite effective. So I got some numbers here. We're talking about the percentage of faculty members already completed this one or all of the 4 components of the course. So if you use this pie chart to talk about right now, 85% of faculty already completed at least 1 competencies, and then 65% have completed all 4 of the components. So this is a very good practice from the university, and especially when you realize this happens before the pandemic. And next will be I call it a reactive kind of measure, is that because of the circuit breaker, we need to bring all exams, final exams online. And we conducted a survey, and after we finish these online exams, I just shared one slide from the survey results. This is from the faculty members, and then we just put them into kind of positive or negative for some of the items. You can tell that before the online exam, there's a lot of preparation issues and actions, and also during the online exam, and finally, what's the feeling and the kind of judgment of this post-online exam. So from the preparation, we see, especially for the IT departments, and they put a lot of effort to provide support to faculties going online. And during the exam, there's also kind of a lot of supportive measures. But even here, if we focus on Q8, the question 8, do you encounter any unsolved challenge? Only about 2%. It means the majority, 98% of the problems encountered were solved. Even so, in question number 12, still about 40% of the faculty members, they will choose to not doing this online exam because of the high level of pressure for the online exam. And finally, about the top 3 concerns in the online examination. First is about unstable internet support. This is something kind of sometimes out of control of even from the university level. And the next one is about, because we're moving everything, we give instruction to faculty members, all online exams have to use a multiple choice format. So some faculty members concerned that some of the learning outcomes cannot assessed with the multiple choice questions. So these are some of the concerns from faculty members. And lastly, I bring this to a micro level. It's about my reflection as an individual scholar and teacher in terms of the mindset and tips dealing with pandemic errors. I just put kind of two statements, two items. Let me explain it first. So first is about one statement is that even though we cannot repeat many of the practices for face-to-face session, it is possible to deliver an equally effective session online. So it's one statement. You can give your answer in terms of true or false after I invite Henry to launch the poll. The second one will be teaching online is simple and easy. We just keep everything the same as before. And right now we just talk to the camera or your laptop versus previously talk to our students. So moving online is very easy. So these are two statements. Now, Henry, may I invite you to launch the poll function? I'll give you maybe 31 minutes to finish it. There are two questions. You just put your opinions. Do you think this is a true or false? So Henry, put them as two separate questions, right? We can finish the two after a few seconds. Yeah, we just launch the second question, and then we come back.
So far we have 94 indicate there.
Yeah, the moment they pass maybe 100, it's okay to we just get a rough idea about how people think about this. And after we finish, we can
end polling for the first one.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
I'll share the result for now.
Share the result.
Did you see it?
Yeah, we can tell. Yeah, 78% think this is true, and the 20 people in general are quite positive. I think it's. Can I help answer the next question? Thank you.
Sure. Here comes the second poll question.
Okay. I think for this one you can end it a little early. Okay. Yeah, it's a opposite. So 75,000 as a false and 25 as a true. Thank you. Thank you. Close the results.
It's closed, yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, thank you. Now I just actually the results are quite similar to what in my opinion. So this is my answer. So for second one, it's false. Online teaching, we're dealing with a significantly different setting, and we definitely need to put a lot of additional efforts into this developing the online modules. So that's why I just propose every one of us need to get ready to learn new skills. And the first one, I put it as true and similar to the majority. I think this is, in general, it sets up a very positive tone to students. Instead of keep on apologizing to them, said we have to do this. If we can do this in a different way or face-to-face, I'm going to have these activities, but we cannot do it now. So this is a relatively negative tone, but if we deal with this very positively, we can set this mindset that we can deliver equally effective session online. And also this changed the fundamental question from can we deliver an equally effective session to how to deliver an equally effective session. So this basically is, again, to set up a positive tone in the whole teaching process. And next, I'm just to share some of my tips of teaching online, especially use a case teaching method. First is we can learn from others. Right now, we got huge amount of free kind of resources. Either it's webinar videos or articles or case studies, and it's offered free. In terms of teaching with case method, the Harvard Business School and also the Case Center both offer a lot of very useful resources for us to learn from our peers. Next one is about the importance of engagement. I think in online session, engagement is in general very important. for the face-to-face session. And now I think it's more important for the online delivering of the modules. So this is some of my practice. And when I teach the code awards, so I invite students to bring their favorite drink to the class session. And in the middle of the session, I ask everybody to turn on their camera to showcase their favorite drink and also some of the Coke and the Pepsi products. In class, I use my previous kind of either photos or videos and share my personal experiences about this kind of the fighting between Coke and the Pepsi. So this is happened before in a face-to-face session. Normally I bring a lot of drinks into the class and then use them to deliver the competitive strategy of Pepsi and Coke. This is a relatively very effective way of engaging students. Even if it's online, I still purchased quite a few bottles of drinks and show them to students. And recently, because we're in a COVID-19 mode, in an entrepreneurship class, when I do this guest speaker session, I invited a Lego artist. Previously, I did this Pepsi and Coke Legos for me to use it for teaching. And this one, we try to make it relevant. So I invited him to create this Merlion wearing a mask. You know that Merlion is representing Singapore, and now we're in the COVID-19 situation. So these are some of the practices in class, how you can engage students. And also I assign students for some kind of assignments after class for them to work on the discussing cases. So this is one very popular video about Coke bottles, how to pass it on. I'm going to just play 20 seconds of this to get an idea of what it is. I use this video to play and engage students, and also I assign students and ask them to, can you repeat this practice? For the groups who can send me a video of this practice, I gave them additional incentives. And then this is one student submission. You can tell, because it's online, they're not allowed to do the face-to-face, so they bring their own version and pass it on. For this. So this is a 1 minute video. I would like to share with you to see the students how we really work on this. All these happy faces and all their practice, you know that you have a successful case discussion from the previous session. And lastly is about create a good learning environment. It's including hardware and software. Make sure Wi-Fi, your mic are all dialed down, and you get yourself familiar with the Zoom software before know all these breakout room kind of function and the call functions, so you can use them as in-class discussion tools. And my last story will be for a very specific case. Is about, you have this situation about kids at home and online teaching. Some people are annoyed by the kids interrupting the teaching session. I got 2 daughters in my home conducting a home-based learning previously when I was teaching strategy. So I did this. I invited my 2 daughters for the first day of class of my strategy during the break. I invited my 2 daughters to sing a song to my students to build the rapport, the kind of connection between them. before the class.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
So with this, actually, it did happen. So when I was teaching the other day, Icon just came in the room and said, "Daddy, I need your help to connect with my Google Meet." And then the students recognized this icon. They just they were not annoyed. They said, "Icon, sing a song for us." So this is a kind of build up the direct connection if you're dealing with this at home kind of environment teaching. And with this, I conclude my sharing. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, George, for your sharing from Singapore. Very interactive sharing, and also the practical measures taken by Singapore in the past several months. Okay, next, can I invite Professor Robert Xu, Director of Graduate Institute of Hospitality, National Kaohsiung University of Hospitality and Tourism from Taiwan, to give his presentation. Professor Xu, please.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Dean Chang, for your invitation and give me this chance to share some information about impact of the COVID-19 pandemic in educational setting, the case of Taiwan. And this is the outline of my presentation. The first part of my presentation will focus on the COVID-19 pandemic in Taiwan. It can be traced all the way back to January 2nd, when the temporary response team was set up by Taiwan CDC for an unknown pneumonia in Wuhan. So on January 21st, the first infected case was confirmed in Taiwan. So on February 27th, the Taiwanese government raises alertness to the highest level because of the global situation was getting worse. So here are some important figures about COVID-19 in Taiwan. Up to this morning, there have been 81,167 cases tested, and we got 467 confirmed cases, and unfortunately 7 dead because of COVID-19. And from this chart, you can see that from the mid-February all the way to May, the situation in Taiwan is was also quite devastating. But now, it seems that the situation is under control now. So the Journal of American Medical Association said that Taiwan is doing a pretty good job to prevent the spread of COVID-19 because the government has taken some precautionary measures, including early screening of flights from mainland China and the tracking of individual cases. From March 19 on, foreign nationals were barred from entering Taiwan with some exceptions, and for those who enter Taiwan must complete a 14-day quarantine upon their arrival. In terms of the impact of COVID-19 to educational practice in Taiwan, schools of all levels in Taiwan have delayed opening for 2 weeks in the spring semester, and there has no large scale of school closure yet, except one high school has been closed for 14 days because of the 2 confirmed cases were located on its campus. Under such circumstances, Taiwan is one of the only 6 countries or regions where schools are still in session in the whole world. During this difficult time, the interactions between teachers and learners in the physical classroom are totally different, because we practice social distance in the classroom. We also ask the teacher as well as students to wear face masks to enter the classroom. Even so, Taiwanese government still encourages schools and teachers to get ready anytime for the full-scale online education. But Are teachers ready for that? According to my own survey, using TPAC scale to assess teachers' relevant knowledge for online education, the answer is that most of them, half of them had no idea how to effectively interact with their students online. So for the most Taiwanese teachers, implementing full-scale online education is still challenging to them. About the case of NKUHT, NKUHT is one and only public university designed specifically for educating professionals of hospitality and tourism industry in Taiwan. It is famous for its internship program design, and the students are required to wear uniform to attend classes. In terms of the strategies, NKUHT has been taken to respond to the changes. I'm going to address this issue from 3 aspects. The first one is the arrangement for internship program. The second one is the border control policy and its influence to the international students. And the last one is the teachers' online education training. All the undergraduate students of NKUHT, regardless of their major, they have to take 21-unit internship courses before they complete their undergraduate study. But after the outbreak of COVID-19, things have been changed significantly. Students were sent back to the school because their employer financial difficulties. And even worse, some local hotels, restaurants, travel agencies have canceled the internship programs in the following semester. And most of them cannot guarantee the future collaboration in internship programs with NKUHT. So what are these students supposed to do, and how NKUHT responds to such changes? We plan a series of in-class courses as substitutes. But before we do that, we have to face 4 challenges. The first one is the students' housing problem. And the second one is the teachers' extra teaching loads. The third one is the quality control of all these extra courses. And the last one is the limited capacity of classroom. In order to solve all these aforementioned problems effectively and efficiently, guideline for special program was established by the TUB to assist each academic unit in the course planning, preparation, and practice. And teachers' extra teaching hours are counted on case-by-case basis. Moreover, the expenses derived from these special courses are orchestrated by the Office of Academic Affairs, which are approved by the president of NKUHT as a special case, and the funding will be provided by the Ministry of Education directly. And it is recommended that culinary arts courses should be arranged in summer or a few weeks before the beginning of next semester. In order to maintain the quality of instructions, courses should be taught less than 8 hours a day. So the measures that we took specifically for the returning students, because students, they came back to campus within different time frame, so we custom-made different courses for them to make up insufficient time of their internship. So all these additional courses should be consistent with department requirements and does not duplicate the required credits for their graduate. In terms of the border control policy and its influence to international students, the Ministry of Education authorized each university and college to have their own special projects to help their students. So NKUHT have 2 different projects. The first one is called Study Aid East project. It is designed for NKUHT students who are originally from mainland China, Hong Kong, and Macau, but they are unable to come back to school due to the pandemic. So NKUHT provides students with flexible mechanisms, including registration, tuition payment, and course selection, and to help them to pass through this turbulence. Another project is Study as Connected project. This one is designed for Taiwanese students, but who are not with NKUHT. They are forced to go back to Taiwan, but they still want to continue on their education. They can take courses with NKUHT, and in the future, their credit transfer will be taken care of by APacCHRIE as well. So from June 29th of this year, foreign nationals are able to apply for special entry permits if they want to study a degree or non-degree education in Taiwan. And all this process will be handled by the Ministry of Education directly. So the teachers' online education training. Since March 16, APUHT has already suggested all the teachers to establish a line contact group with their students. And we also create a new website on COVID-19 pandemic preparation. We share information explicitly with our colleagues and the students. And the Ministry of Education also launched a series of workshops or seminars to share information with the school administrators to help them get familiar with all these special programs. And we also plan online teaching drills. And this is the detailed information about the drills. All the teachers and students should take part of it. And the duration is from April 13 to 19. And the suggested software is Google Meet. And the reason why we use Google Meet is because we have a panel of ICT specialists on campus. They conducted a thorough study and compared 3 available platforms in the market, namely Google Meet, Zoom, and Microsoft Teams. And they came to a conclusion saying that Google Meet is the best for us to use. And they also draft a manual to help the faculty members who are not familiar with the Google Meet. And the lesson that we have learned so far, the first one is that more training on pedagogy of online education are still necessary to in-service teachers. And if online education is challenging to some faculty members, the school should provide TAs to help them and take care of the technical problems. And last but not least, the school should have stable infrastructure and maintain the quality of APacCHRIE. One more thing, we always tell our colleagues and students saying that if you are not feeling well, staying home is a better idea, because if you practice quarantine, maybe you feel no human right, but if you don't do that, probably there will no human left. And I tell my students, if you do quarantine, I will see you in the future. If you don't do quarantine, I probably will see you at the ICU. And this is my presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Professor Xu, for sharing detailed information and measures taken by NKUHT in Taiwan. Last but not the least, can I invite Professor Manohar Sajnani, Dean of Faculty of Hospitality and Tourism at Amity University from India, to give his presentation. Professor Sajnani, please.
Thank you, Henry. When you are the last speaker, you have both the merit and demerit, you know. The demerit is that you, at the sake of repetition, you repeat some points, and the merit is that whatever time is left is all yours.
Oh, we still have time.
But in my case, I am with the demerit, you know. There's not much time left, so allow me to share my screen.
Around 10 minutes for your presentation, 10 to 12.
Allow me to take a little more time because is it visible? Is it visible, Henry, the presentation? Henry, is it visible? Henry?
Yes, I can see you.
Yeah, great. It is my proud privilege to represent India and to represent Amity Education and Research Group. Amity Education Research Group has 11 university campuses in India, 14 campuses globally, including countries like US, London, France, Amsterdam, Dubai, Sharjah, Abu Dhabi, Mauritius, Singapore, and China. And Amity University is among the top 3% of the global universities. Only Indian university having both WASC and QAA accreditation, and our tourism higher education programs In India, Amity is the only university having UNWTO Tech 12 accreditation. Amity University is a very young university, 15 years old, but having 1,075, 1,75,000 student enrollment. My apologies. Brief outline of the session. Um, I'll be covering overall impact of COVID-19 and in particular on Indian education system, the changing ecosystem of teaching learning processes, active role of Ministry of Human Resource Development, a catalyst agency for us in India, institutional support by Amity University to its 175,000 students, lessons learned through feedback and restart of new sessions, best practices during COVID-19 at Amity University, India. As everyone said, COVID-19 has impacted the world. So we all are in the same storm, but we are sailing through different boats. The experiences are different. India, being a very large country with 1.3 billion population, in fact, the subcontinent, has also been affected. But when we compare the results or the level, we find that in India the percentage is 7.9, the number 7.9 people per lakh population is affected by COVID-19. And but when we compare this with the world figure, where it is 62 per lakh global population, and this has become possible because of controlled measures of lockdown and unlocking of our by the government, and wherein it is felt that how we can keep the economy rolling on and still we can save our people by advising them to stay home, to stay safe, by following the same principles as is shared by all members, that maintain distance, wear masks, wash hands regularly, and so on and so forth. Now, education in India is like any developing country. The synopsis reveals that we have more than 1,000 universities, having private universities, state universities, central universities, and deemed to be universities. And these 1,000 universities also have support of approximately 4,000 institutions and colleges. Now, out of these 4,000 institutions and colleges, out of these 1,000 universities, 60 universities offer higher education in tourism and hospitality. And more than 100 institutions offer a bachelor's, the first degree in hospitality management. When I say so, this figure gives us a number of approximately 65,000 students who are in the terminal year of their qualification. That means they are on the threshold of the passing out year. Now, the placement of these 65,000 students is affected because of COVID-19. Because we have seen the first lockdown on 21st of March. And that is the time when the joining of students start in all leading hotel chains, in all leading retail management companies, the luxury brands. This is the time when students join in. So it's badly affected. Now, when we look at the changing ecosystem of the teaching learning process, we find that be it a school, be it a college, be it a university, be it a school, be it a school, the skill education system, everywhere we find that, ecosystem of teaching learning has changed. How it has changed? Because technology has become all pervasive. The uses of technology and internet has dramatically changed the teaching learning ecosystem within India too. Though with constraints like any developing country, the patchy internet connectivity, online connectivity, inadequate online educational infrastructure. To quote a very recent study of KPMG which has come up in June 2020, which says in India only 31% of Indian population is internet, has internet subscribers. Only 1.7 million have subscribed to online education portals. The number of smartphone users is 219 billion, and above all, only 12% of Indian households have proper online learning ecosystem. When we say proper online learning ecosystem, that means uninterrupted power supply, and uninterrupted connectivity to internet. So only 12%. Now it is with these constraints, that Indian education system quickly adapted to the new reality and started training its faculty to become online educators, specialization which altogether needs a different skill set. Let me share here with you that at Amity University, we were probably the first private university to integrate our curriculum in line with Industry 4.0. So when I say so, we carried out a massive restructuring of our framework, model framework, our curriculum structures to align it with Industry 4.0, and we call it Education 4.0. That means all courses were integrated with technology-driven courses. So every faculty was trained on technology. So when the lockdown made us to transform from talk and talk mode into remote learning, it did not come as a jerk to us. We were ready for it, and quickly we shifted to our remote learning mode. So that is the changing ecosystem of our system where Amity, did very well initially, and we picked up very fast and without losing a single, teaching hour, without losing a single, academic hour. We shifted to online remote teaching mode. And now in this, the government of India, Ministry of Human Resource Development, as I said, is a very catalyst agent. That means they have taken the lead, and it is not new. All these, online or open education resources were available, but the initiatives were taken a couple of years back. But what we are expecting that these will become popular in next 3 to 4 years. If I say that this COVID-19 has preponed the implementation or the strict follow-up, the strict following of these online tools for us. For example, the virtual future of education is now different altogether in India. It has seen drastic changes when we talk about SWAM. Now this SWAM, it is now this SWAM. I think I'll minimize the volume of this. See, SWAM is the Ministry of HRD, Government of India. SWAM Ministry of HRD, Government of India initiative. The three cardinal principles of our national education policy: access, equity, and quality. Now these are the three cardinal parameters around which the SWAM is working. 1,000 resource people, trained people are the best trained people are selected to develop modules, and these modules and these courses are range from 9th standard to PG level. And these courses are, and you can see on the screen the chairman of All India Council for Technical Education, who is monitoring this implementation of SWAM. And they are working on four quadrants. Now this four quadrant is the future for our online teaching. Now these four quadrants are video lectures, reading materials, self-assessment tests, online discussion forums. Now these online discussion forums can happen using the social media also, and it gives you absolutely different learning experience. APacCHRIE. Now for the postgraduate programs, we have a different program altogether online tool. It's called APacCHRIE, again a Government of India initiative, and I'm happy to share that Amity University was the first university in the country which received the recognition from University Grants Commission to offer online courses, full-time online programs at the graduation and post-graduation level. And we integrated our programs with these government initiatives also, like for humanities, fine arts, social sciences, natural sciences, and so on. Now, as we all have been talking about remote teaching learning is a new buzz, is a new normal now. So, at Amity University also we have, implemented all the teaching tools required to shift to remote learning model classes, but we have opted for MS Teams. We found, as the previous speaker said, that a survey was done and Google Meet was found to be the best. But when we conducted survey and we found MS Team and we invited the team from Microsoft and we gave them certain areas where they need improvement to make it a customized system to suit our interest or to integrate it with our intranet. Our intranet is Amazon. This Amazon is available to 175,000 students across the world. This Amazon is available to more than 15,000 faculty members across the world. So we gave them the parameters so the integration can happen. And we did e-assessment, we did e-exams, we did precise e-classing. Now these are some of the tools we have trained our teachers to develop this skill set to pick up new online toolkits. And institutional support is provided in the form of conducting specialized FDPs, workshops, and giving them peer-to-peer support. Giving them peer-to-peer support is very important for. And Amity has done more than 37 FDPs and workshops and training programs for the faculty members for different campuses. And this is done not only by internal faculty, but we have invited outside faculty also to train our faculty members. And we have started our next session from 6th of July. So the next session already started and it is going on very smoothly online. It's all virtual. If I talk about emergence of new online learning platforms, yes, Coursera is there, as Dean Sean also mentioned about it, that Coursera or the EDX are the ones which are for the Ivy League. But now, in India, there are various platforms which are meant for the open educational resources, and they work on the criteria of, anytime they are available to anyone, anytime, anywhere, and at no cost. The good thing is at no cost. The cost is attached only when you want certificate or you want the credits transfer for this. So we have Swayam, we have MOOC, we have got Udacity, we have Udemy, APacCHRIE, Shodhganga. Shodhganga is another platform where the all PhD scholars, their thesis, their research work is uploaded on the public domain for the learning of others also. Now, as it has been spoken about, we have also at Amity, we have also adopted both the methods, synchronous online learning method and asynchronous teaching method. We are using video conferencing, we are doing on WebEx and Zoom, we are using Google Meet also, we are using all the platforms for conducting video conferencing, teleconferencing, live chatting, live streaming lectures and so on. And asynchronous teaching methods are also. So we are following not only a hybrid mode of teaching, wherein we are teaching them online, and now we will continue from September, if the conditions permit, to go face to face. So whatever we are following is a hybrid mode. But we are also following the hybrid mode of teaching, synchronous and asynchronous. Now I talked about 4 quadrants. Now the 4 quadrants are in line with our the new education policy, that every curriculum, every course structure will have the inclusion of these 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1 is e-tutorial, wherein videos are uploaded by the faculty. So as per the government guidelines, now 30% of the course can be in the e-mode, e-tutorial. That means it is uploaded. So every faculty has to upload in their pre-planned session plans wherever they want to use the e-tutorial. So the e-content, so lesson material is suggested to the learner. So the learner is now becoming e-active learner. No longer a learner, but they are becoming e-active learner. And teacher is becoming e-facilitator. So quadrant 2 talks about e-facilitator. And quadrant 3 is discussion forum online, wherein we are creating groups. And within the groups, like my colleague from Singapore said, that they have created various forums, discussion forums, they are discussing. Quadrant 4 is talking about e-assessment. Assessment, self-assessment. From time to time, assessment shall be done. It is not that one last terminal exam, but it is from time to time the check the progress of the student. Now, various webinars. Webinars is again a new tool within the online teaching or virtual learning process. At Amity we have conducted more than 1,750 webinars. They are selected by normal laureates. leading industry experts and academicians, guest lectures, industry panel discussions, and FDPs, not only to meaningfully engage our students, faculty members, and administrative staff, but also to achieve upskilling for each one of them. It is very important, during lockdown period or working from home, online teaching, upskilling is important. Changing learning pedagogies, of course, Amity started online fitness sessions because we all know that this is the time when we are within our house walls, feeling at times very stressed. So how to de-stress ourselves? So for de-stressing purpose, online fitness sessions, yoga sessions, and counseling sessions are being done by trained counselors at Amity. This is the institutional support we are providing to a population of more than 200,000 people, those who belong to Amity family. Peer-to-peer support I talked about, workshop and FDPs I talked about. Now, reinventing teaching learning ecosystem. Now this is the lesson learned from the past that we have reinvented teaching learning ecosystem. Now we are talking more and more about, we have adopted emergence of new e-tools and techniques for e-content creation. Now the content, when we talk about e-content, we know that content and the quality is both important. The strengthening of university learning management system. Now here, Amity has developed its own LMS. Now this LMS is integrated with our intranet, Amidome. So every faculty, every student, they have got login ID and password. So they can upload the material, and this, which can be e-content, which can be a session, which can be in any form. And remodeling of examination assessment, now we are into e-exam mode. I mean, we are following both multiple choice questions on our intranet, and for open book we are using metal platform for our students, and the exams are already conducted, and results have also been declared, and satisfaction level is very high. It is very high among the students. Best practices in education during COVID-19 at Amity. Amity, as I mentioned, included Education 4.0 principles in 2019 itself, and so remote teaching it become possible without any hitch. Students are adopting to new normal now at Amity School of Hospitality and Tourism. Amity School of Hospitality is first to offer its students e-internship. Because now all leading hotel groups in India, be it Taj, be it Oberoi, IHG, Marriott, I mean, more than 160 students are undergoing e-internship today. I mean, this is a new experience altogether for us, and we are learning, and what we have done is we are developing with the help of industry our e-learning modules on the operational areas of hospitality education. With this, I thank APacCHRIE for giving the opportunity to present Indian perspective to the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sachnani, for sharing with us how Amity University has been dealing with the challenges caused by COVID-19, different measures taken. Okay. So thank you all the panelists for sharing how your institution has been coping with the challenges and the lesson learned. There are certainly no better or worse measures in coping with the unprecedented situations that we are all facing. I'm sure our audience today all learned a great deal from the presentations. Before we open the floor for a couple of questions from the audience, I would like to throw some questions for our panelists first. And participants, you may enter your questions using the chat function, but please accept my apology because of time limit. We may not be able to entertain all the questions. So my first question is, as a faculty member or an administrator, how do you manage expectations from students, parents, or employers, given hospitality education is being delivered differently under the influence of the pandemic? So, panelists, yes, Sherry, please.
Well, first of all, we should surface these expectations with the stakeholders through consultations. because at the start, we should know what can be and what cannot be achieved. This online learning is iterative and it's like a journey. So there should be a feedback system for monitoring what has been achieved or what has not been achieved. And more importantly, along the way, we can identify and work on the areas that need improvement.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Henry, I think
You just please unmute yourself.
as a faculty or administrator, we need to first assess because now the time has come that industry is going to see a major change. The expectations of industry will change. So we have to align our curriculum. We have to align the structure of our degree even. Like Dean John was mentioning about a micro programs, or a hybrid model. So we have to see because see student expectations will now will undergo change. And moreover, I am pleased to share that in India, in Amity, we have started a program where we are now assessing the needs of the students who are traveling overseas. And now this travel will be a little restriction, so they may not be able to travel this year. How can I design a program with maybe with Hong Kong Poly or some other university wherein they do this semester here and we do the screening of the program or the curriculum and they do part of it here and part of it they do in the university where they aspire to do. This is one curriculum aspect. The other aspect is industry expectations. The industry expectations now they're changing very fast. They're expecting every student to have research aptitude. They want to see every student now with IT savvy. They must be aware of the application of all IT tools, be it virtual reality, be it augmented reality, or be it 3D, designing 3D projects. So they are now looking at students who have all these new skill sets for new normal. I think we have to understand that first.
Thank you. Any other panelists?
Yes. From my perspective, I think that this is a very good opportunity that faculty member, student, and administrator, we have to change the mindset. Distance learning is no longer a threat, but in fact, it is an opportunity, especially for the new generation of the people who are in the labor market, who have lost their job, who have to stay home, but who also can increase their skill and proficiency. At the same time, students can effectively use the distance learning to improve their future skill. Especially now, work from home is a new trend, and we cannot deny the fact that in the future, there may be other type of crisis. We should use the opportunity for the distance learning from the COVID-19 to prepare our faculty and also our students for the next crisis. And when we talk about the distance learning, in fact, faculty member, administrator, we have to put more effort and also financial investment in terms of the teaching as well as the infrastructure. Therefore, there is the course that increase, but we also would like to ensure that all of our effort and financial investment have been able to increase the quality of teaching. Therefore, from my perspective, this is a change of the mindset.
Thank you.
I may add some points. Is that in terms of hospitality education, I think it's no different than any other education. Because I'm also a parent, so I quite understand what's going to happen in terms of this e-learning environment. I just want to bring up a point: is that we need to really, from the school level, we need to really take care of the vulnerable groups, or what we call the disadvantaged groups. So it happens in our university that some families don't have the internet access, and also some even don't have a kind of an iPad or kind of a laptop for taking online exams. So this is even in Singapore, as a quite developed country, still their families, they don't have access to all these resources. This tends to be ignored by some of us. So we really need to take care of this vulnerable group and make sure they're comfortable with this e-learning environment. Yeah, thank you.
Just have a quick comment because I think we just passed the points of no return. In the future, we will rely on technology more than before. So I would suggest the faculty members who are not familiar with technology enhanced teaching and learning, they better start right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't see any questions from our audience, and because our time is up, before we close the session, I'll ask one more question to our panelists. Can you give one word of wisdom as a takeaway for our webinar participants today? So just one word from each one of you, the panelists.
I would say failure celebration. Failure comes before success. Please treat this opportunity to be the time for your invest to improve yourself.
Yes.
I would think the flexibility, because we cannot predict what kind of challenge lying in front of us tomorrow. So I think being flexible to accept different kinds of the challenges will make us feel better. Thank you.
Thank you.
The talks. Sorry? Okay,
go ahead.
You go ahead.
Shirley.
Lily first.
Okay. Amidst all the talks about this emergent learning modality, we should not forget the human side of it. Let us continue learning with compassion and inclusivity and to teach our students how to be responsible global citizenship, because this is what makes us a community that will protect each other. Thank you.
George?
Yeah, I'm going to follow similar to Robert. I use a different term called agile, going agile. That is, you need to get ready to be able to move quickly and address the change of the environment. So going agile is the direction for the future of the education institution.
Excellent. So Professor Sachnani?
I think more focus for us in Indian perspective will be tech up or perish. We have to adapt and adopt technology, and how fast and how well we can do it will decide the future of our existence. So existence depends upon the adaptation of technology.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, excellent. Before we close our webinar today, for some of you who may want to request an e-certificate of attendance from APacCHRIE, can you see the screen here? So if you need to request an e-certificate of attendance, so please visit this website, bit.ly/REQ_CERT, request certificate. So just make it short. So we can just visit this website to request an e-certificate of attendance if you need one. And we will double check the attendee list today. And please do so within 3 days before August comes. Okay, so you just visit this one. And for those of you who are not familiar with APacCHRIE or who would like to know more about APacCHRIE, please visit APacCHRIE.org for more information about our organization, and we will welcome you to join. And just for your information, this is our July webinar, and our next webinar will come up very soon in mid-August. So please stay tuned for our webinar information. So if I think we come to an end.
Before you end,
For your yes, speak.
Henry, just to say something, just a few words. Firstly, I think there is no question in the chat, nothing, because you have removed that option, disabled it, so no one could send any comments, feedback, or questions.
disable that?
Yeah. So that is why you have not got any questions coming. So I think there's a problem with the setting.
Oh,
And
sorry.
there is no option for us to raise hand or ask as well. So there is no question coming from anyone and no discussion happening because of that.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
think
for
there's a problem with your setting. I just want to say a few things just from my own experience in the Bahamas. Yes, we all are moving into online education. Online is not something new anymore. Uh, and but at the same time, we got to be cautious of the quality because everyone is going online. So everyone can be teaching to any number of students. Uh, as what you put in the survey just now, it's true. The teaching of online is not just taking whatever PowerPoint that you have and put it online and that's online. That is not, because the whole pedagogy of teaching online is different. It's totally different. At the university that I'm in, University of the Bahamas, when we first moved into remote teaching, we did not call that as an online teaching. We used the term remote. Why? Because it was called an emergency remote teaching. Because you are going in a certain, and most of the faculty are not well trained or well prepared. So they just take whatever PowerPoint they have, they go into Zoom, they start teaching, and they do whatever they can. But now that we have gone through the summer, we have forced every faculty to go through certification. There's 3 levels of certification. The basic fundamental level, enough for them to start teaching, and then there's the second stage where they are introduced more technology in doing assessment, in grading and everything, and then there's a third option as well. So 3 levels, and then they're given a certification to say that you are now qualified to teach online. Because some of them are excellent faculty, but they can't teach online. So that becomes a problem. So as what the panel have stated as well, that is the future. If you're not able to teach online, you will be phased out. You have no choice. That is going to be the new norm. So you need to put this certification in place for every university to ensure there is quality. Because if you do not do that, everyone is going to go online and students and parents are going to question on the quality of education they're going to get. So if you've got a reputable brand as a university, I think you have to put in place a proper certification for all those going online. Because not everyone is able to teach online. So I've attended for the last 3 to 4 months many webinars across the globe, and I can see some of them they say it's online, but actually it is not online. It is merely coming in front of the screen and then just speaking and putting some PowerPoint. That's it. So when you do online, there's a lot of things that you need to look at, right from the learning outcome, the ease of communication, the visual design of your learning materials, how you conduct your assessment, the feedback you provide, the evaluation, because it is student-centered. So the role of the faculty or the instructor it has changed to just facilitate. So it is very critical for every university to realize that. So moving forward, I think we need to have more webinars, maybe even to look at how to effectively teach online, especially in the hospitality and tourism, where we also have practical classes. How do you deal with practical-based subjects in online environment? That is going to be another big question mark that we need to think through. So I thought these are a few of my, just not a question, but comments that for all of us to ponder. So with this online environment, there's just a lot of opportunity for all of us to collaborate because there's no more borders. So the cost of collaborating is much lower now. So I think you can have experts in any parts of the world to assist and to work one another, especially in the umbrella of APacCHRIE. So as long as we are part of APacCHRIE, maybe there is a potential for us all to collaborate with one another wherever we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Vic, for your comments. And we will have more different diversified topics in the coming month. For example, more some are related to research, some are related to industry oriented. So please stay tuned. And I think I shared the link to request e-certificate of attendance again. And I think the chat box, I'm sorry about the I didn't unlock the chat room function just now, and now I see many people are posting great information. Thank you very much. And before we officially close the webinar, I would like to thank all the panelists for spending your precious time with us and sharing the insights with our audience and from around the world. And I believe that everyone benefits a great deal. And until we meet next time, stay healthy and stay well. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.